The best in sports here, Ken. KTC Broadcasting on a Wednesday afternoon. I'm Tim Johnson and Mr. Baseball himself, Ken Link. Ken, how you doing, man?
Doing fine. Great to be back with you again this week. It finally quit raining. The sun's shining, and we got a lot of sports to talk about today.
Yes, we do, Ken. We got a lot of great baseball out there as well, and we're going to talk a little bit about the NFL draft. We got a draft show coming up here in just a little while. I'm going to talk about the Carolina Panthers as well as some other football teams, and of course all the Dallas Cowboy fans out there as well. But first, Ken, we're going to get into some NASCAR news.
Yeah, big news yesterday is Dale Earnhardt Jr. had a press conference and announced his retirement at the end of the 2017 season, and a little bit of a surprise. Some folks have been thinking about that maybe could happen, but the timing of the announcement was sort of unusual. But he came out and said that he's enjoyed his career, but this would be his last season. Yeah,
Dale's been a great person for the sport of NASCAR. Of course, his father, Dale Earnhardt, to me is probably one of the greatest drivers of all time. I mean, you got Richard Petty and, of course, Jimmy Johnson, who's got 7 NASCAR championships too. But Dale Earnhardt did something in the NASCAR that nobody's ever done. I mean, he's helped not only drivers, but he's helped the market of NASCAR.
Oh, yeah. Junior is the last 14 years he's been voted the most popular driver, which is amazing. That's amazing.
14 years.
And part of it is his father, and part of it is his personality. Dale's more like a good old boy, get along with folks, just like one of us, and people saw him that way. And he's just a very popular driver.
He's like his dad, blue collar.
Yeah, he is. He was asked yesterday at a news conference if his dad was there, would he be proud of him? And he said, well, he probably wouldn't tell me that to my face, but he'd probably tell Rick Hendricks that he's proud of him.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's the way Dale was, So he's a tough guy. And Junior, interesting, he said all he wanted to do was to drive a car for a living. He said, I never had any goals that I wanted to do this or that, accomplish whatever. I just wanted to drive a car for a living. He said, actually, I've accomplished way more than I dreamed I would.
And speaking of his accomplishments and stuff like that, Ken, he made his first career Cup start at Charlotte Motor Speedway back May 30th, 1999. He's a 2-time, Ken, Daytona winner, 2004, 2014, and his father only won it once. So, a 2-time Xfinity Series champion in 98 and 99. And last season was a kind of a difficult season for Junior. He missed the last 18 final races because of concussion symptoms, Ken.
And I think that went into part of it, making this decision. He recently got married, and you look at concussions and some of the long-term effects of them if you have multiple ones, and he probably considered that and just thought it was good timing to step down. Now, he said he may fill in next year. He probably will drive the Infinity Series next year.
He has 2 races left, I think.
But he's from the Cup Series, which he won 26 races. He's stepping down from that.
It's amazing to think, Ken, 14 years in a row voted the most popular driver. I mean, you have, Jeff Gordon. You had Jimmy Johnson. I mean, you had Matt Kenseth, Tony Stewart. I mean, and of course, Kyle Busch and Kurt Busch. I mean, you got a lot of great race car drivers. And to know that 14 years in a row, Ken, popular, unbelievable. Great career.
And some folks are thinking, how much hit will NASCAR take as far as popularity?
That's right.
And
will it take a big hit?
Carl Edwards stepped down earlier this year and retired. Now Dale's doing it, and we'll see whether it takes a hit or not. Now, Dale's probably going to still be involved in promoting it.
Sure.
And he even made some mention of he hoped the future is good and he'd like to be part of, promoting it in the future and that kind of thing.
Well, Jimmy Johnson won the Food City 500 last week in Bristol, Tennessee. And Kyle Larson, Ken, he still leads the points with Chase Elliott in second.
Yeah, talking about, we mentioned some folks that actually had stepped down recently, from Gordon to Edwards, now Junior. Here's some young guys coming along that's going to keep this sport going, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
People like Larson and Chase Elliott, they're going to keep this stuff going. They're good young drivers that's out there making their mark now. Jimmy Johnson's there. He's won like the last 2 races, and I noticed he's up to 16 points.
Is he the veteran now?
He's the veteran, and guess what? He's the champion. I mean, he won 7 of them.
He's going to win 8 at least, Ken.
Yeah, he's still as good now as he was.
He's got that
2 or
team.
3 years ago. He's got a good team, and Hendricks made no announcements yet about who may be the replacement for Dale. I'm sure
that'll be interesting to see.
It'll be interesting to see who that is.
Yeah. A little bit of NBA playoffs, Ken. We'll go ahead and knock some NBA out. The East, the Cleveland Cavaliers over the Indiana Pacers 4-0. Toronto leads Milwaukee 3-2. And Chicago, Boston tied at 2-2. And Washington, Atlanta tied 2-2. In the West, Ken?
Yeah, in the West, the Golden State swept their series over Portland 4-0. Houston beat Oklahoma 4-1. And we got 2 series still in progress. San Antonio leads Memphis 3-2. And Utah leads the LA Clippers 3-2. So those first round series and ones that haven't finished will be finishing in the next couple of days, and then they'll be on to the second round.
Does anybody have anything for the Warriors? I was asking Kevin Hastings that earlier, and the answer I got was no. What
I
do you
don't think
Ken?
so. I mean, Cleveland will be shooting to be there and another series like they had last year maybe, but I think they've got Durant back now, and I think they're just a team to beat.
Yeah. I mean, they got a great basketball team. They can shoot it from anywhere on the floor, Ken.
Yeah.
All right, Ken, that's our basketball and our NASCAR news. And right now we're going to head over to some high school baseball, Ken.
Yeah, we're heading into the last week of the regular season as far as conference games. So all the teams will be finished up the conference schedule this week. And then next week, most of the conferences in our area will be having a conference tournament, which they usually have at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And after that, I think I read where the playoffs will be starting May the 10th. So after the conference tournament, there'll be bids, seed setting, and then there'll be the bracket set up for the playoffs. In the 1A athletic, we still have Cherylville, who's only lost 1 game. They're 19-1, and they're 12-1 in the conference. They're still leading that conference. They finished up their schedule. Had a rain out, so I think they got 2 games today. They got a 4 o'clock game and 7 o'clock game. Then I think they got their final conference game scheduled for Friday. And so
who do they play today? Who do they play?
I think Thomas Jefferson, and I'm not sure who the other one was, but they play two teams today, and then one Friday. Lincoln Charter, they're 16-4 and 13-2 in the conference. They only have 1 conference game left, and so they'll be finishing that up, I think, either today or Friday.
Highland Tech, they're 12-7, 10-4.
Yeah, they dropped. I think they dropped a game to Thomas Jefferson, which was unexpected.
Really?
So they're now 10-4. They got 4 losses in there, which was an upset.
That is an upset without a doubt. And speaking of Cherryville Ironman, they are fresh off the Gaston County Easter Championship. They beat North Gaston 3-2. And
North Gaston, a very good team.
Very good team.
The
team.
first place team in the Big South tournament.
2A, 3A.
They're a 3A team. They've only lost 1 game in the conference. They're 16-4 overall, and 2 of those losses were at the hands of the Cherryville Ironmen.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a great win for Cherryville too. Do you think Cherryville, Ken, is going to repeat this year? Do you think I think they got a chance if their pitching holds up.
Yeah,
can they make another run?
They can. Their pitching has been holding up. They've been winning
close games.
Tight games.
That's what it takes.
When they get in a close game, they usually pull it out. They usually make the plays. Their defense is very good.
You made a point about their defense, how well their defense is, Ken. They don't make mistakes.
They don't make mistakes, and as a result, their pitchers are not afraid to throw strikes. They don't walk people, and they rely and have confidence in the defense, and that goes a long way.
It does. Now, in the SD7 2A bracket, Ken, East Lincoln still on top, 14-6. They're 10-2. West Caldwell's 8-10, 8-4. Bunker Hill 12-8, 7-5. I'll tell you, Ken, Marty Curtis, the Bunker Hill head coach, he's going to have them boys playing really good as we go on.
They've come on the second half of the season, so they're already probably playing as well as anybody, maybe besides East Lincoln in the last half.
And Maiden's 11-8, 7-5. Lincolnton is 7-10, 6-7, playing good baseball. West Lincoln 8-10, 5-7. You got to think Chapman's going to do something to get these kids, in the right direction for the playoffs. Now, how many teams, Ken? Here's the question. That's a tough baseball bracket, SD7. How many teams are going to go from that conference to the playoffs? I mean, you got East, West Caldwell, Bunker Hill, Maiden, and Lincolnton. That's your top 4 or 5 teams. Is West Lincoln going to get a playoff berth this year, Ken?
Doesn't look like it unless they can move ahead of these couple of teams. I don't know how many bids have come out of there, maybe 3, but where West Lincoln's sitting now, unless they make some noise in the conference tournament, which may help them next week, look like they're on the outside looking in maybe.
Now, Lincoln and West Lincoln's kind of flopped the situation. And what I mean is, Ken, Lincoln's beat some good teams that you wouldn't think they'd beat.
Mm-hmm.
West Lincoln's lost to some teams that you sit there and you think there's no way they could lose in them teams.
Yeah,
but they don't make no sense to me.
Yeah, it's been sort of up and down.
Right.
And both teams, you can say they haven't been consistent. And that's what you see with inconsistent teams. They'll play a good game, and then they'll turn around and have a stinker maybe. That's what you get.
It's going to come between West Lincoln and Lincoln to make that final playoff spot if they take 5 teams, Ken.
Yeah.
And, you know, West Lincoln holds the edge if they can win out in Lincoln because they beat them twice, Ken.
Yeah.
So in North Lincoln, a little bit about them boys. 12-5, 7-5. They're in 4th place behind Lake Norman, Alexander Central, and South Iredell. Ken, what do you think about the North Lincoln Knights?
Well, they started out pretty good, and they got some good teams in that league. And obviously that's a 3A league, and they're hanging in there, and they'll probably get a playoff berth. So I think they played well if you consider competition in that league.
Well, we wish North Lincoln well as all the Lincoln County teams as well. Also, Ken, a little bit about Major League Baseball. Madison Bumgarner's injury, dirt bike accident.
Yeah, he's a good old boy. He likes to chop trees. He likes to ride horses, and evidently he likes to ride those iron horses a little bit.
He bought his wife a cow for when they got married. Bought her a calf, actually.
But he was riding a dirt bike in off day in Denver, Colorado, and had a little accident, and he bruised some ribs, but also strained that left shoulder a little bit, and they say maybe about 2 months before he's recovered enough to pitch. And I see he was really remorseful about what had happened. He said he really wished he hadn't have done that, and had to do over he wouldn't have because he's obviously a team player, and he's concerned about the impact it has with him being out to the Giants.
And I tell you, Ken, Madison, I mean, we know his dad pretty well. He's going to come back. And when he comes back, he's going to come back with vengeance. I guarantee you that.
Now, the question is,
will they be too far down?
Yeah, right now the Giants are in last place in the Western Division in National League. So the question is, will they be too far back where they can't make it?
I hope not.
Right now in that division, you've got the Colorado Rockies leading that division, and Arizona half a game back, and then you got the Dodgers about 4 games back. So it's unusual. You got those teams up there with the Dodgers and Giants below them.
Right.
And they Chicago Cubs are doing well. They've took the lead over in their division. In the Eastern Division in the National League, you got the Washington Nationals there. And so that's sort of expected. I was surprised, as I said, the Colorado Rockies and the Arizona Diamondbacks ahead in the West. In the American League side, you got the Baltimore leading the East. You got Detroit leading the Central with Cleveland just a game back. And you got Houston, who's got a pretty good lead in the West. They got about a 4-game lead in the West there in the American League. So
the Indians are coming on.
The Indians are there. They're right there. They could be in there in just a little bit because they're only game back, but they're playing well.
Now, what's this? What do you know about Eric Thames, Ken? Milwaukee Brewers. He's got 11 home runs.
This kid, I think he had a sort of a cup of coffee in the major leagues a few years back, and then he went over to the Korean League. He's been playing in the Korean League for about 4 years. He comes back. He signs a contract with the Brewers, makes the roster. They got him out there playing, and he hit a lot of home runs in the Korean League. But it's the Korean League, so you wouldn't expect him. Well, he's went nuts. He's hit 11 home runs so far in 3 weeks. He's a left-hand hitter. He hits left-handers. He's been hitting home runs off left-handers just as well as right-handers. And they said he's so good against the breaking balls. Over in Korea, you're going to see a lot of breaking balls. They don't come with the heat like you do in major leagues that much. And he's just hitting
ripping
balls
ripping.
He's ripping it.
Congratulations to Eric Thames. Also, want to send out congratulations, Ken, to Chandler Jenkins. He just broke the home run record at CVCC. 15 home runs, Ken. He's got about 2 more weeks to play.
Yeah, I saw some stats on him before he hit his 15th. They said he had 14 home runs, but he had was batting 500. 500. This is baseball now.
East Carolina product.
He's batting 500 and had 69 RBIs.
At the leadoff batter. You know that, don't you?
Yeah, he had like 60-some RBIs in 30-some games.
Can you imagine? Would you say he's player of the year in that conference?
Oh, absolutely.
There's
I mean,
nobody.
I don't think there's anybody
Yeah.
better than that as far as his stats.
I would think so too. So I shot.
And it looks like the Catawba Valley has come up, and they're right around 500, where they were several games below 500.
The pitching is killing them.
So they've been winning a few more. So congratulations to him, who's had an outstanding year.
Absolutely.
And is going to get rewarded with.
And he's a West Lincoln High School product.
Yeah, going to get rewarded and go to East Carolina.
Well, that's great for Chandler. We're awfully proud of him. I've known Chandler ever since he was 3-4 years old. Coached him pretty much almost his whole entire life, Ken, to be honest with you. He's been at my house, and him and my son are best friends, so we're awfully proud of Chandler. Also, Ken, some college baseball. We got 3 ACC teams ranked in the top 4 in the country, Ken. We got 4 teams in the top 10.
Yeah, we got Oregon State's rated 1, but right behind them you got Louisville, Clemson, and North Carolina. And you got Virginia ranked 10th. So I'll say this. The ACC can play some football, national championship, Clemson. They can play some basketball, national championship, Carolina. And apparently they can play some baseball, guys.
That's pretty good for the ACC, Ken.
I think we're looking good right now.
Ken Lincoln, Mr. Baseball. It's good to see you, Ken, on a Wednesday.
Glad to be here.
I'm Tim Johnson. We're here every Wednesday from 4 to 5. It's good to see everybody and good to talk to everybody, too. So we're going to be taking phone calls here, too, so here on the show. So coming up next, Ken, we're going to talk some NFL news, and we're going to slide right on into the NFL draft.
Sounds great.
After these commercials from our fine sponsors here on WCSL 1590.
Official Listen at Work station.
Can you remind me what I pay you people for?
Big O Country, WCSL 1590 AM, Cherryville, Gastonia. Online at KTCBroadcasting.com.
The Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series.
He'll go after Kyle Busch.
Joe Gibbs Racing has dominated the last 2 years in Richmond.
Diving deep into the corner. Here comes Carl Edwards.
But Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, and NASCAR's Young Guns are aiming to make a change.
He is there. Quarter pedal alongside.
The Toyota Owners 400 from Richmond.
Contact is made. Knocks him up the banking.
Sunday at 1 p.m. on the Motor Racing Network.
The Toyota Owners 400 this Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock on Big O Country, 1590 AM WCSL, and online at KTCBroadcasting.com.
Hi, Daddy.
Hi, Marge. Hey, what's that?
Oh, that's our new Coyote tractor. John picked it up today. Isn't it beautiful?
Well, yes, but...
It's going to help us get all those jobs done around here.
That's great, but...
And with Coyote, we get the industry's best warranty.
Okay, looks great, works hard, the best warranty, but why?
Why is a Coyote tractor in our living room, and why is John snuggled up next to it? He's in love.
Coyote, love your tractor.
Your Coyote dealer is West End Sales, Highway 1827 intersection in Vail. If you own a swimming pool, then listen up. Don't miss out on the Early Bird BioGuard Pool Chemical Special from Carolina Hardware and Garden Center and Pool Supply in Lincoln. Now through April 30th, take 10% off BioGuard Pool Chemicals. Just ask for the BioGuard Early Bird Special and take 10% off. And don't forget about those Husqvarna zero-turn mowers and power equipment at Carolina Hardware and Garden Center and Pool Supply, located on the Reachville Road in Lincoln. Going fishing? Then head first to the all-new Hooks Bait and Tackle, now located at 3607 Dallas-Cherryville Highway next to Kingsway. You'll find live bait, crickets, worms, minnows, shrimp, and chicken liver. Plus, the new Hooks Bait and Tackle has lures, sinkers, hooks, rods, and reels, and yes, they do take trade-ins. And the new Hooks Bait and Tackle carries carp bait and juices, plus Amish jellies and jams. Just call 704-215-8616 for the all-new Hooks Bait and Tackle, 3607 Dallas-Cherryville Highway next to Kingsway. Open Tuesday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturdays, 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. Looking for a mattress? Well, save during the big mattress sales event underway at Hendrick Appliance Mattress Center in Shelby. Queen-size Serta Perfect Sleepers are only $6.99. The Serta iComfort Hybrid Observer Super Pillow Top Queen Size Mattress, $13.99. And the Sutherland Double Side Foam Mattress is only $6.99 for a queen size set. Plus, with a $6.99 or more order, get a free I Love My Pillow. That's a $99 value at Hendrick Appliance Mattress Center, 1241 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. It's unstoppable in any season, any weather. Yes, it's hard to stop these great offers from Train and Roland Black Heated and Cooling in Gastonia. It's the Weather Any Season sale. Right now, buy a qualifying system and choose 0% APR financing for 60 months or get a trade-in allowance of $1,000. Additional financing and trade-in allowance offers are available. See Roland Black Heated and Cooling for the details. The Weather Any Season sale at Roland Black Heated and Cooling, 501 East Franklin Boulevard in Gastonia. Call 704-865-1375.
More than 7.7 million American teenagers participate in high school sports every year, including about 214,000 here in North Carolina. They're all learning essential life lessons, like the importance of hard work, time management, and self-discipline, skills that are helping them become better leaders and more active, responsible citizens. This message presented by the North Carolina High School Athletic Association and the North Carolina Athletic Directors Association.
NASCAR racing right here on Big O Country, WCSL 1590 AM, Cherryville, Gastonia. Online at ktcbroadcasting.com.
Ken Link along with Kim Johnson here on the Best in Sports show here on WCSL in Cherryville, North Carolina. We've been talking a lot of sports. We're going to transition now into a topic that a lot of sports fans have on their mind now, and that's the NFL draft.
Absolutely, Ken. And we got some NFL news, too. How about those New Orleans Saints signing Adrian Peterson to a 2-year deal, Ken?
Yeah, and he's going to help that team. It's already a good offensive team. He's going to help them even more.
Absolutely. And I know I guarantee you Drew Brees is just jumping out of his shoes, Ken, to have a type of quality running back, one of the greatest running backs of all time, Ken, Hall of Fame running back. And he's left Minnesota, and he's visited several teams out there, Ken. He visited the New England Patriots. I believe he went to the Houston Texans. And also there was rumors around that the Oakland Raiders are interested in him too. But, yeah, Adrian Peterson, great running back, Hall of Fame running back. He's going to be playing in New Orleans Saints this year and is in your conference, Ken.
Yeah, and he's still got some juice left. And so when you look at the Panthers, they got to think about who they play against.
Absolutely.
They got to defend that stuff.
Stop that run game.
They got to stop that running game. And I'm sure they're thinking about that.
Yep.
More news is also, I think we had Marshawn Lynch recently.
Raiders. He's Oakland bound.
Yep.
And actually, Ken, that's a trade. So he was still under contract with the Seattle Seahawks. So what they did was, even though he retired, they would have had traded him to the Oakland Raiders. And so that took place today. So that's a final. That's a done deal. And I'm going to tell you something. All the years that he played in Seattle was a great running back, and he's probably Hall of Fame right there on the borderline, Ken.
Yeah, he's had a great career.
Absolutely. And he's the beast. But here's the thing, Ken. He's from Oakland. I was listening today on TV. They said he lives 1 mile from the stadium of Oakland Raiders, and he said for signing for the Oakland Raiders, he's having a block party.
Hey,
yeah,
all the way to the stadium.
Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
He's having a block party. But that's Marshawn Lynch for you right there.
Another signing recently, the Patriots re-signed Malcolm Butler. And the thought was they were going to be dealing with the Saints on a trade to get some draft picks. But I understand the Saints have sort of said, nah, we think we'll keep our draft picks and not make that trade and take our chances in the draft.
Well, we're going to get into the draft, Ken, and that's a smart decision on them because they can get a young player with a rookie contract. Don't have to pay all that money. And the draft, as you know, Ken, and we've talked about it the last couple of weeks, it is deep in defensive product out there.
Oh, yeah, and it's very deep as far as
we're talking about 4 rounds, Ken.
Yes, and on the defensive side, as far as pass rushers and defensive secondary, both safeties and cornerbacks, is a very deep draft. It's also a very deep draft in running backs on the offensive side. And I know Dave Gettleman for the Panthers has talked about how rich a draft it is.
Absolutely.
And he's tickled to have a good many draft picks, too, because there's some talent in this draft.
All right, Ken, I'm trying to think here. A little bit of more NFL news. This is not actually NFL news. It's college news, even though they're not in the NFL, which there soon will be. Jabril Peppers failed a drug test, diluted sample test, Ken. And, that's kind of a sketchy thing, Ken, because the word was that he had cramps, he was sick, and he drank a lot of water and stuff like that and so forth, fluids and stuff. He took IVs and stuff like that. The guy's playing 2 to 3 different positions, Ken. That can have a toll on you. And also I heard through the grapevine that he had the same issues in college as well as high school, Ken. So they may not be drugs involved here.
The NFL needs to relook at that and their policy regarding that,
yes.
because there are some exceptional situations that don't apply. Obviously, you got to have drug testing, but they maybe could tweak that would be more fair for the individuals.
And and they say he's a top 15, maybe 20, top 20, top 15
oh, yeah,
pick.
He was a first-round pick, no
Absolutely.
doubt about it.
You just got to find out what you're going to do with him, whether he's going to play safety or outside linebacker or corner, which I don't think he can play corner, but they were mentioning that.
But it's probably pushing him to the second round. I don't think it'll push him beyond the second round, but we'll see.
Garen Conley, that's the one that, Ken, he's a top 10. He's top 10 pick. Garen Conley of Ohio State, cornerback, rape accusations, Ken, and he is not going to be at the combine, or not the combine, but the NFL draft this year. He's taking himself out, and he came out with a statement saying that none of that is true, which we hope it ain't. I mean, from my understanding, his background, he has nothing. He has a clean slate, so we only wish the young man nothing but the best, and we hope that, like I say, that's false accusations against him.
Yeah, and the bad thing
he's a
about
top talent, first-round talent.
The bad thing about it is, whether it's false or not, the news is going to hurt him and cost him a lot of money. And it's
can you
just
imagine?
Unfortunate. And some folks may say, well, even if he's not guilty, he didn't show good decision making by having his
at 3 a.m.
in a situation like that where something could be done, something could happen or be reported to be happening.
Absolutely.
And
that's sad, Ken.
It is sad for the individuals, but that close to the draft, kids just got to be careful about that kind of stuff.
Well, I tell you what we're going to do, Ken. I tell you, let's go ahead and go to a commercial break, and then we'll come straight back out of the commercial break, Ken, and we're going to go straight into the NFL draft here on WCSL 1590 KTC Broadcasting.
The moon outside, too bright. Those blinds, yeah, let's just keep them closed.
NASCAR racing right here on Big O Country, WCSL 1590 AM, Cherryville, Gastonia, online at ktcbroadcasting.com.
It's Customer Appreciation Day and Open House at Eddie's Auto Parts in Lincoln, your CarQuest Auto Parts store. Hi, I'm Calvin Hastings, and I want to invite you to join the boss as we broadcast live this Saturday, April 29th, from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. at Eddie's Auto Parts in Lincoln, your CarQuest Auto Parts store, located at 2514 East Main Street in Lincoln. Come by and join us for lunch. We'll have free Subway of Boger City sandwiches, chips, and soft drinks. And be sure to register to win some great prizes, including Hickory Crawdad baseball tickets, free rounds of golf, Boss t-shirts, and more. And check out the newly remodeled store. It's clean and fresh and ready to go. So plan now to be there this Saturday, April 29th, 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. for the Customer Appreciation Day Open House event at Eddie's Auto Parts, 2514 East Main Street in Lincoln, your CarQuest Auto Parts dealer.
I'm Lon Helton, inviting you to join me as I count down the week's top 30 with Brad Paisley, who has a bunch of guests on his brand new album, including Mick Jagger.
I said, why don't you come back and spend a couple days and we'll write and record? And next thing you know, he did. And I was floored. I thought, okay, well, I better clean the house.
That's Brad Paisley this week on Country Countdown USA.
Country Countdown USA with Lon Helton, Wednesday afternoons, 1 o'clock on Big O Country, 1590 AM WCSL, and online at ktcbroadcasting.com.
We're going racing in Richmond, Virginia.
The NASCAR Xfinity Series Dash for Cash.
The 4 drivers going for the $100,000 bonus.
NASCAR's rising stars battle for big bucks.
Justin Allgaier has caught Ty Dillon in the race for the point.
At one of NASCAR's toughest short tracks.
Pedaling as hard as he can to not make up any ground.
The Toyota Care 250 from Richmond. Saturday at 12:30 p.m. on the Motor Racing Network.
The Toyota Care 250 this Saturday afternoon at 12:30 on Big O Country, 1590 AM WCSL, and online at ktcbroadcasting.com. From auto to home to business to life insurance, your hometown agent is Rocky Bennett at Bennett Insurance Group. Rocky has been serving this area for over 33 years, offering you the best in coverage with Erie Insurance. No matter your claim, Rocky will work side by side with you for your best coverage. See Rocky Bennett today at Bennett Insurance Group, 116 West Main Street in Cherryville. Call 704-435-0270 for Bennett Insurance in Cherryville.
Discount Ink Jet and Toner in Shelby has moved to a brand new location. Discount Ink Jet and Toner is now located in Shelby at 114B East Dixon Boulevard. If the cost of ink is driving your profits down, then you need to see Discount Ink Jet and Toner in Shelby and in Gastonia at 410 East Franklin Boulevard. They specialize in refilling ink jet and toner cartridges. Cut your ink costs by as much as 50% or more. Discount Ink Jet and Toner, located at 114B East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby and 410 East Franklin Boulevard in Gastonia. Engineering great smiles, that's the goal at Dr. Paul H. Cloninger Family and Cosmetic Dentistry in Cherryville. Dr. Cloninger can fix those ill-fitting dentures and partials by surgically placing dental implants as a means of stability and support. 3D imaging assists the doctor in properly designing and placing an implant for you. Dental implant consultations are free. Call for an appointment at 704-435-6916. That's 704-435-6916. Or visit our website at paulcloningerdentistry.com.
NASCAR racing right here on Big O Country, WCSL 1590 AM, Cherryville, Gastonia, online at ktcbroadcasting.com.
Here we are back on the Best in Sports Show. Ken Link and Tim Johnson here. We've been talking a lot of sports, and we've been talking the NFL Draft, which begins tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Friday, they will be starting again at 7 o'clock, where they'll do the second and third round. And then Saturday, they'll start back at noon and do the rest of the rounds 4 through 7 to finish the draft. But the biggest focus right now is on round 1, which is tomorrow at 8 o'clock. A lot of talk, a lot of speculation about who's going to take what, and a lot of speculation about the Carolina Panthers, who has the 8th pick in the first round.
You know, Ken, the needs for the Carolina Panthers is offensive tackle and defensive end. Then we got running back.
Yeah, and a lot of speculation that they're going to go running back, and the reason being, the feeling is there's not an offensive tackle that's worthy talent-wise of being picked in the 8th round, with the 8th pick in the first round. And defensive end is a possibility. I don't know whether they'll go there or not. Also, there's a great tight end out there, O.J. Howard, who's is around that time frame, so that's a possibility.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. They're not going to go offensive tackle on the first pick.
No, they won't.
I guarantee you that.
No, they won't do that.
I'm going to go out of the line, Ken. I think McCaffrey is going to be the pick for the Carolina Panthers if he's there.
I think so too, and I think he'll be there at 8. The running back that won't be there at 8, I think, is Leonard Fournette. I've heard that Jacksonville really wants him at number 4 with the 4th pick, but I also heard today that San Francisco with the 2nd picks really likes him too.
True. So, Chicago Bears. I also heard Chicago Bears might be the team to sneak up and get Leonard Fournette from the Jacksonville Jaguars. So, now think about this, Ken. You got Carolina sitting with the 8th pick. Okay, you got Cleveland with the 12th pick. Now, what if some reason that Cleveland thinks that the Jets, the number 6 pick, is going to try to get a quarterback and maybe get Trubisky? Do you see them trading up?
They're looking to trade up to get Trubisky. I've heard that they've talked to at least.
Is he the best quarterback in the draft, Ken?
I don't know. Some scouts say he is. There could be an argument between him and Deshaun Watson at Clemson. But a lot of teams like Trubisky. They think he's smooth. He's very accurate in how he throws it.
You know who he reminds me of?
Who's that?
Brady Quinn. Brady Quinn for Notre Dame.
I hadn't thought about that.
He does. I don't know why, But when I watched him play this year, he reminded me a lot of Brady Quinn. And he was a heck of a quarterback at Notre Dame. Brady Quinn was one of the best of all time, I think, at Notre Dame. I mean, you had Montana and some other great ones too.
But the Cleveland Browns like him over the other ones.
They do.
Is
that a smokescreen?
I think they really do like him. They've been talking with about, they said at least 4 or 5 teams to move up from the 12th pick higher. Now they got the first pick. They're going to take Myles Garrett with that first pick.
He's off the board. That'd be the first pick.
But they want to get above Buffalo, who could take Trubisky. They may want to
Don't count the Jets out.
Well, here's
they
the
need
other
a
thing.
quarterback.
They may need to get. You're right. They may need to get higher than 8. They may need to get to 5 to make sure they get him.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
And so I don't know. I don't know that they trade with the Panthers will be pulled off because I think they want to be sure they get him, and they're going to go higher than 8. I don't think they want to go to 5.
Well, let's look at some of the defensive players at the defensive end. You got Derek Barnett from Tennessee. He's going to be a top 10, probably top 10, 15 pick.
Yes.
Then you got Takaris McKinley from UCLA, Ken. I love him. He's a player. He reminds me, his motor never stops. He's going to play in the middle of that line, tackle, maybe outside defensive end, but mostly I think he's going to be in the middle. You got T.J. Watt from Wisconsin. That's J.J. Watt's brother. And you got Tyce Bowser from Houston. Now, he's a name that everybody's starting to look at, too. And Charles Harris from Missouri. And then you got Taco Charlton from Michigan. And your defensive tackle, Malik McDowell. I'm not too high on him, Ken. I don't know about him. Jeremiah Ledbetter, he's another one, Arkansas. So that's your defensive ends, and of course Myles Garrett, your number 1 pick. I mean, he's definitely going to get
another defensive end is very good.
Solomon
Thomas.
Yes.
Now that's they talked to him about going to being the second pick to San Fran. But if San Fran goes a different direction, he could fall.
They got a new coach, Ken, and that coach is an offensive coach.
And that's what they're saying.
And he's a quarterback coach.
They could go for Fournette. Yeah. They could go for a quarterback.
There you go. So I'm telling you.
And
I think Deshaun would fit better in his system than what Trubisky would. I think so in the San Francisco in what he does.
Now I'm not expecting Solomon Thomas to be available at 8 when the Panthers pick, but if San Francisco doesn't grab him, he could fall. How far? That's the thing about the draft. You just don't know.
Chicago needs a running back, and they also need a cornerback, a safety too. They need that too.
Well, they got some good safety. I mean, this guy Adams, he's probably going to be picked in the top 5. He's a top safety. You got this kid Lattimore from Ohio State,
right?
Who's a cornerback, probably the best cornerback. Ohio State's got some defensive backs in the draft.
So running back, you got Leonard Fournette, and you got McCaffrey.
Yes.
And you got the kid from Tennessee. Is it Kamara? Is that correct?
Kamara, yes. The Panthers have talked to all 3 of those, and they like Kamara too. Now they probably could get him in the second round, maybe with the 40th pick if they want to go that route with him. If they don't get a running back at 8.
And they're also saying that Joe Mixon. I've heard a lot of people say he's probably the best player in the draft, but he's got some off-field issues just because of what happened, what he did with a young lady. But Ken, the draft is deep in defense. So I think if Carolina goes with McCaffrey at the 8th pick, I think that's going to be a plus. I think that could be the steal of the draft. And I'm going to tell you another young man too, Corey Davis from Western Michigan.
Yeah, wide receiver.
Kid's
very
good.
Very good.
Yes, he is.
In fact, they've been argued he maybe be the best wide receiver in the draft.
Right. Williams of Clemson is good too, but I like that Davis kid.
But McCaffrey, there's different feelings about him. I think he'd be a great pick because his versatility. He can help you in so many ways. And I just think the defense has to plan for so much more when you got a guy like him that can do so many things out there on offense.
So your pick's McCaffrey.
That's who I would go with.
If everything pans out, McCaffrey's your pick.
Now, if something would happen like Solomon Thomas dropped to 8, I think I'd go with him.
Think so?
Yeah. But I think McCaffrey, what I understand, I think that they love Fournette, but they really like McCaffrey a lot. If Fournette would be there at 8, they'd probably go with him, but he's not going to be there.
Cam's never had a type of back he could, check down to.
Yeah, and some people say, well, Cam can't do that. He only throws it downstairs. He can do that.
He can do that.
He can do that. That's not a big deal.
And I'm going to tell you something. That's going to take pressure off Cam, too, with a running back like that. Because what do they do with him a lot? Run the football. check it down.
Yeah.
So I'm with you, Ken. I'm McCaffrey, and I hope they pick McCaffrey. I hope he is end up in Carolina. Now, Ken, we got the Carolina Panthers set.
All right. What about them Cowboy fans?
Cowboys, man, I tell you, it's killing me, Ken.
All Cowboys.
Well, I tell you, Ken, I've studied what they need, and they need quarterback and safety. They lost their whole entire, pretty much starting of the backfield of the defense. They're going to pick the best player available, whether it's offense or defense. I'm telling you, that's their philosophy. And I'm thinking if Kevin King, if he's there, with Seattle's in front of them, so Seattle needs a safety too. If Kevin King's available, I think he could be a Cowboy by the end of the first round. Now, you got Chidobe Awuzie. I like him too, from Colorado. Also, I like the big safety from Connecticut, Ken. The one you were talking about. He's 6'4", 225, 30 pounds. He can run. They said he could play cornerback, Ken. Imagine.
He's one of those free athletes. He's got size you wouldn't think would be a defensive back, but he's got the talent. He can cover, and obviously he can hit you with that size.
Obi Melifonwu.
Yeah.
Remember that name, Ken.
I was hoping maybe he'd be available when the Panthers pick at 40 in the second round, but I don't know that he will.
Nah, he's going to be gone before then. I would think, but I'm hoping that they get a cornerback or a safety. Defensive end, probably by that time you're looking at people like Charles Harris, Taco Charlton, T.J. Watt. I tell you, if Takaris McKinley fell that far, he'd be the pick. I'm thinking cornerback. Kevin King, Adoree Jackson. His name has been linked to Dallas too. Adoree Jackson, Awuzie, and Tease Tabor from Florida too. Trey DeVavius White from LSU is a good player too. So I want Kevin King. Kevin King, if not, Obi Melifonwu, the safety from Connecticut, Ken.
Well, the Panthers could use safety too, and they could use maybe another.
They linked his name, Melifonwu.
Yeah.
They linked him to.
There's another guy named Buda Baker.
Yeah.
Who's they list him sort of as a safety, but he's probably his size and speed. He's more of a nickel back, and that might be if somebody could help the Panthers as a nickel back. They could maybe get in the second round.
Right.
But like I said, he's pretty highly thought up. He may not be there at 40 either.
Right. I was listening to some of the ESPN talk show hosts and stuff like that. They were saying that, if the rights, you got the running backs, they're going to be like 3 running backs gone, they're thinking in the first round. They're going to be like 4 or 5 defensive ends before they get to Dallas. We're talking about the Dallas. So, even though you're the 28th, 29th, 30th pick, you're still going to have some quality picks. And you're going to have, they're saying maybe possibly, Ken, 4 quarterbacks in the first round. I can't see that. 3, possibly 4. I think Andy Reid from Kansas City likes that Mahomes kid. They like him. So that's a possibility. Kansas City's going to need a quarterback eventually. But I'm going to tell you somebody, Deshaun Watson, can you imagine what he would be like in a Kansas City offense with Andy Reid?
I think
with his ability.
I think he's going to be a fine player.
Oh, I think he is too. I really do.
I'm a North Carolina Tar Heel fan, but if I was choosing, I think I'd take him over Trubisky.
That's just me.
He the thing about it, he's got the experience. He's
The
been on the
big
big
game.
stage.
Absolutely.
They talked about it. He gets intercepted a lot, but guess what? In the fourth quarter, he never gets intercepted. When the game's on the line,
He produces, Ken. He steps up.
He steps up, and he's proven he's a winner.
He's poised.
He's a winner.
He's got great character, and he's got great leadership, Ken. That's what you want in the locker room. And he's got a great work ethic.
Yeah, and you can read just the way he is on the field, super competitive.
Yeah. And
super competitive.
I remember what his head coach said he was the Michael Jordan of Carolina at Clemson. I don't know if I go that far or not.
I don't know, but I know one thing. I've never seen any athlete more competitive than Michael Jordan.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, there's no doubt about that. But Kevin King for the Cowboys, Obi Melifonwu, safety from Connecticut, Kevin King also Washington. Offensive player, man, I tell you, that Corey Davis, Ken, can you imagine what he would be like in Dallas in the slot or the number 2 receiver with Dez Bryant? I tell you right now,
I don't think he's going to make it. I think he'd be gone in the top 15.
Yeah.
20 at least. Unless the Cowboys want to move up and get somebody, but I don't think there's a lot of talk of trades, and they may be one or two in that first round, but I doubt there'll be a lot of trades. There's always a lot of talk of trades, but not that many that happen.
A couple other players too, Ken. Wide receiver Curtis Samuel from Ohio State's pretty decent ball player. Juju Smith-Schuster from USC. And there's a tight end, Ken. I want you to remember this name. Adam Shaheen from Ashland. D2, they said he could go in the first round. Really good tight end. They compare him a lot to Jason Witten. Now, there's a Hall of Famer right there. So the Cowboys are high on him, too. And Bucky Hodges from Virginia Tech. Don't know a whole lot about him, but they say he's a pretty good football player, too. And, of course, you got your O.J. Howard, who without a doubt is the best. He might be character-wise, leader-wise, the whole 9 yards, the player, everything, might be the best in the draft.
Well, he's the best tight end to come
No
out
doubt.
in several drafts. And so sitting there, I think he'll go top 10, 12. I think he won't make it to 15. He's going to be gone before then.
And the kid from Miami, Njoku, what is his name? David? Is it David?
David
Njoku.
He's an outstanding tight end. And
he's top 15 too.
Yes, they say he's probably the better receiver. Now, O.J. Howard's the more complete tight end because he's an excellent blocker. Now, that's not to say that this other guy can't become an excellent blocker, but both of them are very good tight ends.
Well, Ken, they had him linked to Carolina too at one time.
Yeah, the Carolinas worked both of them out and talked with them, so they like both of them. Now, whether they'll things will fall where they can get one of them is a different story, but we'll see.
And John Ross, they had him linked because
they met with him, but
he's got, to me, medical issue. He's little, he's not very big. He's fast as lightning. You can't teach speed, but the thing about it is, Ken, you get to the NFL, thing changes. I mean, pretty much
that's a red flag to me is some of the surgeries and medical problems he's had.
Yeah, he get hit or something like that, but still, I mean, he's a speedster. He's more of a Deshaun Jackson. And Philadelphia's, from my understanding, is a location where he might end up at, to replace what Deshaun Jackson had in Philadelphia, that, deep threat that Philadelphia does not have now. So that will be a compliment to Carson Wentz there at Philadelphia.
Yeah. So, and it's interesting. It's going to be see who goes for quarterbacks in the first round, which, if a couple in the top 10, if a couple teams decide to go for quarterbacks, that pushes some good players down.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So there you go. That's the reason it's
that's
hard
what we're
to
looking
say.
for.
What will you do at 8? Well, it depends on who's there.
Push them down.
Push them down.
We need we need some good football players. So, but we got offense. We need defense is what we need. We get our defense lined up. Carolina needs a few things on offense, tackle, and running back, and they'll be back to where they were too.
Well, they have 8 picks, and they've got 4 in the top 98.
Well,
so that's pretty good.
That's good.
That's good.
That's excellent.
They got 5 in the top 115.
Right.
So they'll be able to get some good players.
And Ken, in the near future, we're going to take phone calls and stuff like that from our listeners and so forth. Going to have a lot of giveaways and stuff like that here on the show at WCSL 1590 to give away to our listeners as well. Also, Ken, want to do a shout out to our very good friend, Mr. Wayne Howard of the Lincoln Herald. Ken did an outstanding report on our radio show here, The Best in Sports. And Ken, I know you sent Wayne some information.
Yeah, he did a good, excellent job. And Lincoln Herald, great online newspaper for sports. I mean, that's where people go now. Online
I look at that more than I do the Lincoln Times.
To get their news, not just sports, but all kinds of news.
Absolutely.
And he, Tim had spoke to him, and he said, yeah, he'd be willing to do an article about our new show and us getting on the radio here on WCSL. And I sent him some information, and he
did a sensational job.
Had an article in
first
the
class
paper Monday evening, I think, when it got there, and it's out there now if you want to go take a look at it. But nice article, and we appreciate that.
And Randy Emmons set our Facebook up, Ken. We got our Facebook going, got our Twitter. Mr. Randy Emmons, good buddy of mine. He's a first-class person. I got to meet him yesterday. Got to meet his son actually yesterday, Ken. And I tell you, his son's a lot better looking than Randy. A lot better looking.
Well, some of us old guys, that's the way it is. Our kids look a lot better than we do. But that we got a few years on them. So.
All righty, Ken. Great show.
Enjoyed it, and then tune in to the NFL draft tomorrow. You can get it on the NFL Network, or you can get it on ESPN, and it'll start, and they'll have all the news you want to about the NFL draft.
WCSL 1590 KTC Broadcasting. I'm Tim Johnson, Ken Link. We'll see you guys here next Wednesday at 4 o'clock on the Best in Sports. You guys have a great week.
Goodbye.